know, Randy, this is a conflict of styles in this game. Obviously, the wide open, offense that Clemson runs versus the old school, I guess you can call it, nature of what Alabama does. Who has the advantage given all the athletes on both sides of the ball? The coaching, obviously, Saban's been there. This will be his going for his fifth national championship. But Dabo, there's something special about him that his players, they go the extra mile. Where's the advantage lie, if there is one?
They're scarily alike in that, Tiki and guys. I mean, they've gotten better and better as the season has gone on. They've been like Alabama Clemson has.
Yeah.
I was looking at that Notre Dame game a little closer the other day, and the first half, Clemson looked amazing. And by all rights, they should have lost that game, by the way that the game finally ended. But I think they've really learned from that sort of how to finish, how to close games. And you've seen that as things have gone on during the season. So, Alabama, that's kind of in their basic DNA. That's part of their quote-unquote process that you have to learn, that you have to wait to play, and you always got to finish. So I think it's somewhat contrasting. When you see the size of the offensive and defensive lines, they don't look that different.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, if you're on the field tonight, I would challenge you to say, "Well, that team's a lot bigger than that team." I don't think that'll be the case. A real wild card, contrary to what a lot of Bama backers think, is going to be Deshaun Watson. Everyone says, "Oh, well, they run the ball well." Gallman right around 5 yards a crack at about 1,500 yards in the season and 12 touchdowns. Well, Watson had 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns rushing. And he does it in a style that's completely different than anybody that Alabama's seen in the last couple of years. I mean, anybody, including Shepard, including Dobbs, any of those guys. So they're big and physical on defense for Alabama, and they're pretty athletic. But I think he'll challenge him that 53 yards, spreading them out, and that's where they could have a problem.
Yeah, no, the big advantage, obviously, for Alabama is that they get after the passer. Should he drop back and throw the ball, they lead the nation in sacks. But more importantly, they have a stout run game, a run defense. Only two, I think, teams have rushed over 100 yards against them. But they have had guys get in the end zone, quarterbacks. Chad Kelly did it for Ole Miss, the one game that Alabama lost this year. Can they stop Deshaun Watson? I mean, he is such a dynamic player for this Clemson offense and does it in so many different ways.
Yeah. I think they will be able to run the ball some, not quite like Nick so flamboyantly described, like poop through a tin horn. But earlier in the year, I think they're going to be able to do it because they are going to create space. They're going to create space by splits. They're going to create space by formation. And I know Alabama's adjusted to that in the past. I know they're used to that now to some degree. I really like what they can do physically up front. Now they're going to have an issue. One of their linemen, the left guard, has been, and his name's escaping me, I'm sorry, but he's been limping a little bit. And they've got a freshman starting at left tackle, a kid named Hyatt, from north of where I am here outside of Atlanta. That's really good. But I think they'll be able to run the ball effectively, but the biggest yards may indeed come from Deshaun Watson. But they can't intentionally run this guy, guys, because as physical as Alabama is, they just might break Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
You guys have seen him. He's not exactly one of those big, studly options.
No, he's not Cam Newton.
No, he's not thick. And Tommy Bowden pretty much said the same thing about Watson having a run. Rnady Cross with us here on CBS Sports Radio, Tiki and Tierney Show. So, Randy, as you know, Bama's played one game since December 5. They beat Michigan State. Same with Clemson. They beat Oklahoma. Over the course of those 40 days, even though it's not 40 uninterrupted because you're playing, the first round of the playoffs here, how much can a coaching staff change the way, the playbook, what they implement? Will we see anything radically different from either team tonight, do you think? I don't mean going away from strength. I don't mean that, but some trickery or some things that keeps the other team off guard.
Well, it's not above, Alabama, especially with Lane Kiffin, to do two things. One is go a little bit out of the grab bag, and that's usually a reverse or a reverse pass, and playing with pace out of course kind of a more spread by their standards field to their offense, adding a receiver, taking out a tight end, something like that, and maybe leaving an H-back in or a fullback. I would look for that, but I'd especially look for the pace out of Alabama on the offensive side. As far as Clemson goes, the lid's off. They're undefeated. They are an underdog. No one's given them a chance to win the game. Dabo does not hesitate. I think his punter gets it that he's only going to fake it when Dabo tells him it's okay. But I wouldn't say there's much of a limit on what you could see out of Clemson.
Yeah.